Hey, and welcome back to Carlitoism. Welcome back to Talk Better Worlds. This is podcast number
38.
I have the number somewhere. Yeah, 38. There we go. Number 38. I am Sir Felix the Cat, and here is Hawk. How is your day going?
It's not as terrible as I thought it would be for a Monday, but how about yours?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Started going back to an old game. What have you been playing? I'll get into my stuff.
So I have been kind of hopping again, but the game that I've been playing the most over the last couple of days has been Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. I don't understand why this game didn't sell very well. I absolutely love the shit out of it, and I think everybody should play it.
When did that come out? Thought it was new.
It is relatively new. It came out relatively new. It came out, let's see, 2024, February 12th. So it's been just over a year. And it's on sale on Steam. So that's why I got it. It's $25 on Steam at the moment.
Nice. I have been playing, I beat Avowed. I was very excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Avowed and I beat Bug Snacks.
Nice.
Back to back. Avowed, I have to change my rating on it. I said it was a 7 out of 10. It's at least an 8 out of 10. Like, minimum. And that a lot of that comes down to the decisions you make. It's very reactive to what you decide. And I very much appreciate it, especially the way they tie things in. Like, minor things you did tie into the very end. And I was like, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah, I loved what I played, and I'm definitely going to buy it. But I'm just going to buy it on sale in the future. Not that I mean, it probably deserves what is it, 70? If it's 70, it does not deserve that.
I believe so. It was pretty expensive.
Yeah, that does not deserve that price. But I mean, I will. It seems like a good game. It sounds like a good game.
Yeah. And then I went back to an older game that I bought a while back and just never got too much into. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which it's cool. It's really hard though. Like I'm kind of surprised at the difficulty of it because I played 1 and 2, beat those. At least I think I beat them. I beat 1, definitely. I don't know about 2. But this one, like, I'm 10 levels over what I should be, and I'm just getting my butt kicked. So either I'm just trash or it's a really hard game. Yeah. It's been fun. There goes the dog.
Doggo.
But let's get into some news and hope that my internet doesn't mess up on me this time.
God. Usually
so for starters, usually it's okay. I let it sit for like an extra 5 minutes offline, hoping it would just like get its shit together. But so the first story, Activision is forced to confirm its use of AI in Call of Duty due to Steam's disclosure policy. So they tried to deny it, even though there were like images that came out where a zombie had like 6 fingers on one hand.
Yep.
And like some of the skins look like they're pretty janky. I don't think this is one of them that they're showing in the image.
Who knows?
Yeah, but there are some like skins and costumes that are just straight up AI made, and it's very obvious. So thankfully they had to actually come out and be like, okay, yeah, we are using AI, which it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, I am sure so many companies have used AI, and like most people probably don't even notice it because they probably run some shit through AI and then have an artist touch it up to make it look like it's not AI. That's probably happening. It's probably been happening for a long time at this point. And I don't feel good or particularly bad about that. I mean, it's like, you could say what you want about AI and stealing art and shit. All artists steal art. That's how you make new art, period. Yeah. And if your concern with AI is art, you should reanalyze your concerns because the concern with AI is everybody else's job, not art. But yeah, it's stupid when they try to hide it. If you're gonna do that, just say it. And I guarantee you, for an IP this big, most people wouldn't give a shit if you just came out and said you did it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, people are upset because it's AI slop that we're getting fed for $70.
Yeah,
and plus it's a title that also has battle passes, event passes, and more microtransactions.
Yeah. Yeah, the way Call of Duty in particular monetizes their shit, it does make it a little more offensive in this case.
Oh, speaking of them, you know what other title they make, because they're Activision Blizzard, that went back to doing something kind of scummy, and I forgot to pull this one up.
Diablo?
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
They're bringing back loot boxes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good old Blizzard.
Do you have to pay for Overwatch 2, or is it free?
It's free.
Okay, so that's still scummy as hell. But it's better than when a $70 game has paid loot boxes. It is better than that.
Yeah. Yep, Overwatch 1, I'm pretty sure they had loot boxes all the way through it.
I think they did, yeah. I never played it, but you played it way more than I did, because I didn't play it at all.
Let's go on to a happy gaming story. So after almost 10 years of Stardew Valley, Concerned Ape says thank you for playing and releases the new patch on Nintendo Switch. I appreciate everyone who enjoys the game.
Is this the end?
I don't think so. He said he's still going to keep working on it, but he's just putting out like a heartfelt thanks. Like, you know, you guys have all been playing this. Every platform this game is on sells really well.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, especially since it's basically a one-man team. He does outsource some things, but the majority of it is all him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, his game changed the landscape, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it brought back a dead type of game. Like Harvest Moon, it died. Yeah. It died years ago, sadly. Like, I think it was after the GameCube.
Yep.
Yeah, it was nice to see it come back, and now it's thriving again. I mean, they're back under a different name. Something Seasons, I don't know. Valley of Seasons, I don't know what the heck it's called. Story of Seasons, that's what it is.
They can't compete with him, though. There's no way.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Perfect in every way.
Well, now he's working on that Chocolatier game, too. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, we'll see that in like 8-9 more years.
Hey, let him take his time. Take as much time as you need with that shit.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been announced, 7 years ago? Feels like forever ago.
I have no idea. 15 years past the game was announced.
Yeah, this was going to be my after the show story, but I figure I'll show it now. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad he is still in touch enough to say this, to thank people, to be humble enough, because he's probably so loaded at this point, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's swimming in money, so for him to still say hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for buying it. Thanks for making me. I mean, that's always nice.
Yep. And then Metroid Dread developer announces a new game, and this is Mercury Steam. They've been around for quite a while. Their latest game was Metroid Dread, but they also did Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS, and co-developed Clive Barker's Jericho, which is a crazy game.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah. But yeah, their new game is going to be called Blades of Fire, which is going to be an fantasy epic.
Okay.
And there are images of it. Ooh. I can't tell if it is going to be Souls-like. It doesn't look like it will be, but it's also hard to tell these days since every game is a Souls-like, it feels like.
Well, yeah, everyone says every game is a Souls-like.
Yeah, and some of the bosses kind of give that vibe, like this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to definitely be heavy on action. It's more of an action fantasy RPG. Oh, if that's a smithing thing that you could do, yes. I'm sold already.
It is a lot. There's a heavy focus on crafting weapons.
Oh, that's dope as hell. Okay, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for this.
Yeah, it is going to be... It's going to be beautiful. I'm pretty sure they're going to do well. Yeah. But yeah, some of these enemies give me that Dark Souls vibe, hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, these definitely all look like staged shots too. This one might be candid gameplay, but just without a HUD. But a lot of these look like they're cutscenes or staged shots or something. So we'll have to just see what we're looking at gameplay wise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
I don't think it's been announced for any console. It's probably going to at least be PC, and I'm assuming like all the next gen or current gen consoles.
Mm-hmm. There's no list on Steam yet, or listing on Steam. I just looked.
Yeah, it'll probably be a while.
Yeah. Take their time. They just got to take their time.
Yep. And also, apparently, they're making another game, which might be another Metroid.
Oh shit!
Which will be cool if they stay with Nintendo and be like a 2D, like the 2D, 3D, whatever they want to call it, the side scroller Metroids. That'll be dope because they need to keep the series alive. It makes decent money for them, and it'll just get better and better as they go.
Well, see, Metroid is woke, so clearly it doesn't make them any money because go woke, go broke. So
yep.
You play
always
Femoid, so you can't buy it. Don't buy it.
And then to follow up on something we talked about last week that you guys decided to alert me to, which made me very sad.
Yeah.
Bond IP slop and the fucking idiots taking over 007. And that is a quote. That is a direct quote from somebody. And this is the most beautiful picture because it shows who the next Bond villain should be.
I would legit pay. I don't like Bond. I get why people like Bond. It's just not my thing. But I would pay to see that movie, dude.
But yeah, fucking idiots. In December of 2024, that is what Barbara Broccoli, the second generation steward of the most bankable MI6 agent there is, called her opposite numbers at Amazon, referred to the titular spy as content, and didn't think Bond was a hero.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. This is... Get ready to weep, man. Get ready to weep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be walked through. And what is this? The fact that they killed Daniel Craig in the last movie gives us... Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they're supposed to be going back in time to like show like a younger Bond on like one of his earlier missions. And we're probably not going to get that storyline. We're going to get some dumb trash, which is going to be a bunch of member berries, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be basically taking like, oh, let's take this, this, and this from these movies and just throw it into one.
Like, how much? Because I don't follow Bond. I know about Bond. I mean, how could you not know about James Bond? But like, I know about him. I get the gist. Suave international MI6 spy guy to pew pew, figure out stuff going on and save the world kind of shit. But like, what I do like about Bond is that he does die. Like he dies or he gets phased out. You know what I mean? He retires and then he's replaced by somebody. It's not like superhero shit. But how much established lore is there with James Bond? Or is it just kind of open, like Terminator, where shit's just kind of up in the air?
Well, most of them so far have been based off of the book series, which the book series is based off supposed to be a real person. Like the author knows the guy and he told him his stories and he just basically changed names, situations, and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be basically real events.
Okay. So whatever you know about the lore of James Bond, Amazon is going to pull their pants down and take a steaming shit all over it. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we saw it with Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, and only Daniel Craig died. The rest of them didn't die. They basically saved the day. Got the rewards, got the girl.
Don't they just like... Because, like, and I don't know, I don't know, so correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, since the James Bond movies have been made over such a long period of time, each James Bond movie seems to take place in the era that it's made. You know what I mean? So you got, like, 60s, 70s, so it's new guys taking on the mantle. Is that it?
No, it's all one agent. It's all James Bond. That's his actual name.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes,
yeah, they kind of screwed up once they got to, what's his name? Pierce Brosnan. They jumped it up to modern times, and that kind of made it a little iffy. It's still good, but it changed quite a bit of it.
Well, I don't think it would have survived if it didn't drop some of that just cheesy ass shit that you had in the older movies. Like people would have just laughed about it. Like it needed to be taken more seriously with a more serious world at this point. So like most of our media is pretty dark and serious. So I think it needed to do that. But again, I'm not a big Bond fan, so I that's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know shit.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cool though, but I just hope they don't totally destroy it, because that would be shitty. Even though I'm not I don't follow it, it would still suck to see a cool thing get shit on by Amazon.
Yep. Yeah, UK's character just gonna get destroyed.
The Sean Connery woman slapping was kind of based a product of its times. Yeah, definitely a product of its time.
And then on to some political stuff. I pulled up this article because it was just one to remind me of it. There's a whole bunch of like nonsense going on about reviewing gun regulations, and there's two stories going on at once. So AG Pam Bondi, she is actually very I want to take away your guns. Like that is one of her goals in life, is to just take guns away from basically everyone. But yeah, she's on the Republican side and wants to take your guns, which is just
that's
hilarious.
Like you're what?
Yeah. And like her newest thing is basically to try to get it to where if anybody thinks you could possibly do anything wrong with a gun, then you're not allowed to have one anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, this is America, so guns are kind of part of our identity at this point, like it or not. We have serious gun violence problems. And I think we need to talk about gun control. We do not have enough gun control, but we cannot do the whole, we're just going to take all your guns. That'll never fly here.
Yeah.
Ever. But we also but that doesn't mean that we can't have sensible gun legislation where there are more background checks, where there's like red flag laws. Those seem to work pretty well in a lot of states where they exist. But it's just, there should be a debate about this. And there are very few things I feel that way on in terms of politics, but there should be a debate about this because there's a line on both sides. And I don't know where we should go with it exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's where the story gets interesting, because this article itself, it kind of talks about a little bit of the opposite. So the meeting I talked about where she said she wants to put through the whole, like, if you can't be trusted with guns, you can't have them type thing. That was said last year, or no, not last year, last term for Trump. And she's still on that, but at the same time, they're trying to walk back the gun regulations, including red flag.
Well, then how the hell, what are they trying to do? Like, what are they trying to accomplish with this?
It's more of the Trump campaign or Trump cabinet thing that we've been seeing, where one says this, another says this. It's the same thing as we had with the Musk sending out those notices like, hey, let us know 5 things, you're fired. And you had like the head of the FBI and other departments saying like, yeah, ignore that. Don't do that.
Christ,
don't reply.
Dude.
Yeah. So they have two people constantly just not talking to each other and making decisions at the same time. So they're fighting for extreme gun control and no gun control.
It's just total incompetence.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is quite awesome to see.
Our government at this point is a chicken running around with its head cut off, and the rest of the world sees that. And I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I didn't bring up the other story too or did I talk about last week, the meeting with Zelensky and Trump, or did that just happen?
That just happened. No, you did not bring that up, but I should have.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that before I go on to the next one. That was the greatest scene ever for showing how stupid this country is, how screwed up we are. The fact that we have Trump and his little, like, doesn't know what he is, vice president, chilling there, insulting this guy who's a true leader of his people. Like, he's just trying to make sure his people are good, not lose his land to Putin, who did invade, like, physically, like, finally came in and invaded. And, yep, Zelensky's the bad guy. He's the one who needs to watch what he says, and he has no cards. We have all the cards, and you're finally going to have some cards with us, and all the other stupid stuff they were saying.
Yeah, like, that was straight up fucking embarrassing watching that video.
It was
I don't
cringy.
often. It was, dude. Like, I'm not like a gung ho. I'm not a nationalist. Neither of us are really nationalists. Like, I love the idea of America. I love what America could be, but I am by no means this nationalistic. Like, I love my country. I identify as an American first. I don't feel that way. So it's not often that I see something that this government does that I just feel straight up embarrassed about. That I felt embarrassed about.
Yep. Well, I mean, we were basically watching Trump blow Biden. We watched him blow Putin on TV. Like, that's what we got.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Putin, I think some fucking goon over in Russia, one of the higher ups in their state, came out and like applauded Trump for that whole meltdown and everything. It's like, of course. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the people who are currently our allies and soon to not be our allies all came forward, like either through Twitter or through calls and meetings, basically telling the dude, like, hey, we got your back. We got your back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the other scary thing, too, is like if we just totally separate ourselves from the EU, I mean, they could go hot with Russia in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fucking stupid idea. I don't think we should not be prodding more war. Okay, especially when everybody has the capability to just annihilate all life on the planet. So, like, we should settle the fuck down, get our hands out of Ukraine, because they've been in Ukraine for decades at this point, okay? Yep. Russia needs to get their hands out, too. But if I say that, a lot of, like, libs and shit are like, well, oh, so you support Russia. No, I don't fucking support Russia. I don't support Russia. It's stupid. It's all stupid, and both sides need to get the hell out. How does that happen, though? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yep. And what's up, David? Yeah, we're gonna get to that here in a little bit about where we were, what we were doing. Absolutely, that's where we're gonna start with this. Got one last story though. This one I thought was kind of funny and embarrassing at the same time. Again, the House Judiciary GOP account posts a Rickroll instead of the Epstein files.
Yeah, this shit.
And this is the House Judiciary GOP is led by I forget his name, Jim Jordan, and they posted on like their official Twitter account, like, hey, click this link and you can see the Epstein files. At least they finally came out, and you go to it, and yeah, it's just a Rickroll.
Yeah, so
and it's because pedophilia is a joke. It's just a giant joke.
Yeah, the guy who allowed basically all of our politicians to fuck little kids is a joke, I guess. So
yeah.
And we all know that shit's not coming out because Trump did it. I don't give a shit. Trump did that shit. Him and Epstein were best friends, dude.
Yeah.
By his own admission, they were best friends.
Yep.
He went to that island and he fucked kids. And we get a Rickroll instead of actual information.
Yep. Yeah, we know there's people on both sides, both parties that are absolutely involved in that, 100%.
Like Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we have people from the UK that are involved in it too. Tons of names. Of names. It was Prince Andrews, wasn't it? Yep.
The moment you get power, we've talked about this a lot. These people have all the money. They have all the power. They have everything you could want. If you want something with these people in their position, if you want something, you get it. Okay. The only thing that they can't do, because laws say that they can't do it, is like murder, and having sex with children. Okay?
Yeah.
So they feel nothing. They're dead inside. And then they go and they do this shit. And that's why they do this shit, so they can feel something. It's fucked. I hate it. And our country just seems to be treating it like a joke at this point.
Yep. Yeah, and this right here. Don't forget about Trump and Epstein's Miss Teen USA pageant and how Trump was bragging about, oh, yeah, he gets to go back there and see them while they're changing.
Yep. Well,
and then there's also another report that came out that basically a bunch of the pageant contestants, these teens, were at a hotel party, I believe it was at one of Trump's hotels, and people ended up leaving because they weren't comfortable with the fact that a lot of these kids were in rooms having sex.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Well, and don't forget, Trump came out and said, he was like, I love Epstein. Epstein was great. He liked women. He loved women. He loved young women, very young women. He said that over and over again. Like, he knew, and he took part in it. A lot of the Dems knew, and they took part in it. The reason this shit will never see the light of day, unless we tear it from their cold, dead fucking hands, is because most of them are on it.
Yep, it's vile. It is vile. Everybody just wants that list to come out just so we could see it, just experience it. Just know who's on it.
They know heads would roll, dude. Like half our fucking government, left or sorry, not left or right, Republican or Democrat. So right or right, half our government, Republican or Democrat, their heads would fucking roll, dude. If the actual list came out, there would be straight up like pitchforks and torches in the street because so many people would be implicated on this shit.
Yep.
Trump burning the Epstein files now. Yeah, that shit will never come out. That shit will never come out.
Yep. Yeah, because that guy who wrote the book about Trump being a king for kids, he's now able to oversee it and stop it.
Yep. Isn't it great? Isn't it great that we are a country run by like mobster pedophiles?
Yeah. And why would you defend that? Like, why would you defend that?
Because they're probably monster pedophiles. It's
yeah. All right.
It's like, why would you hate Antifa? Sorry, like, why would you be against Antifa? It's not even a group. It's an anti-fascist ideology.
Yeah, it's bad.
If you see someone who says they are anti-fascist and you go, that's stupid, you're a Nazi. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. But also, you gotta remember, they consider Antifa to basically not be white people.
Yeah, it's just black people.
Yeah, that's how they see it. Yep.
Christ.
Yep. All right. So before we get into the main topic of 9/11, we are thinking about something for the channel going forward, which is we might cut back on the political stuff on this channel. Meanwhile, we are talking about doing a just straight up political channel on the side, which would be interesting. We'd try to schedule a live show at some point during the week or whatever, and then do like bi-weekly videos of news and stuff and try to do a lot of shorts for it. But it's nothing confirmed yet. We're just going to start cutting back at least.
Yeah, we have a lot to say on political shit. A lot of stuff that I think you won't find most other people saying. And I think there's a lot of potential for us to get stuff out there that you just won't see. Stuff that I've been looking for that I haven't found. Stuff that I'm sure you've been looking for that you haven't found. And we would like to do that and provide that. But it's nothing is done yet. Nothing is done yet. And we also don't want this channel to get totally nuked. Because like this is kind of this channel will be our baby. It's our first one. It's kind of like, I know we want to preserve this if at all possible. So I think we want to take hotter political takes to another channel where it can get nuked.
Yep. Go to a straight politics channel and that'll be its own little thing.
Yep. No holds barred.
Yep. Yeah. We're only in like the spitballing names idea. That's about it.
It's a theory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a theory, like 9/11. It never happened. Just a theory.
Oh, the stream got nuked. Oh no.
All right. So yeah.
Live feed.
So yeah, me and you were talking the other week about where we were when 9/11 happened. And it's so interesting because you grew up on one side of the country and I was on the complete opposite.
Yep.
So you got to experience it like 3 hours before I did.
Yep.
Yeah. So since you started earlier than me, go ahead. Where were you at when it all went down?
So I was in school. I was very young and I didn't see it happening live. I only knew what was happening after the fact, after the school day. But I was at school and I actually just recently asked my parents about this too. Like, where were they? What did they feel? What did they think, to get a better idea of the general vibe for the family at this point. But Carlitos asked if we had the TV rolled in like in the movies. I didn't have that, but I know other people have. I know a lot of people, both, you know, in my school and Sir Felix. I'm sure Sir Felix's school, or even he may have had this in particular, where they rolled in the TV and started playing the news. I didn't have that because I was quite young. But we went to the gym. They brought the whole class to the gym early in the morning. If I had to guess, I'd probably say like 8, which because it started at like 8:30 or like almost 9 o'clock, I think is when it finally kicked off. So 8 or 9, somewhere around there, we were all brought to the gym. We were sat down in the gym like it was a bomb scare, like a bomb threat, effectively. But all the teachers were real quiet about it. Nobody said it was a drill. Nobody indicated that it was a bomb drill or anything like that. We didn't know what the hell was going on. And everybody looked real somber and scared. And then we went back to our homerooms and classes were just kind of canceled for the rest of the day. And we just chilled in class, like in our homerooms for the rest of the day. I didn't get to see the TV until after school when my mom took me to my grandma's and they were just playing, you know, both the towers being hit and falling on repeat for like 2 or 3 days straight afterwards. Yeah. But that night I saw it and like, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew it was real bad and people were dying. And what I remember more so after the fact is the following years of the war fervor, the anti-Muslim hate, the unity with Bush. I remember a lot of Bush's speeches. I remember how people felt immediately afterwards more than the day itself. But my parents said that they were thinking about taking me out of school for the day or even for like the week because they were terrified. And they said that they learned about it pretty much as it was happening on radio and TV. And they were really, really scared about it, and understandably so, but nobody knew what the hell was going on. They thought it could have been like World War III or, you know, maybe Russia or China, whoever, like something else was happening. And it was just kind of pandemonium for most people, which is what I've gathered for everything that I've seen too. But, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I was in California, so it was already happening when I woke up. At least the first one had hit, I believe, had just hit. I got up early in the morning because my routine was to, before I got ready for school, was to watch like music videos on MTV. So I go to do that, but MTV is like doing the whole like banner and thing, like saying like, hey, you know, something big happened. So I went over to the news and yeah, I'm watching like the one tower like burning and I'm like, what is going on right now? So I grabbed my mom and I'm like, hey, you're probably going to want to see this. Looks like something big. And she was just in shock. Like her look was just like, oh my God. And I was just like, okay, so this is big. And then listening to the news, like they're saying everything that's going on. And then we see the second plane hit. And that was just kind of shocking to see while they're like actually showing it on TV, like, hey, this is the tower burning live. And then you see the other plane hit. But yeah, throughout the day in school, that was all it was. Like my science class, which was because I was my freshman year of high school. In science class, we had the TV actually mounted in the corner of the room. So we basically just sat there, didn't do any work. It was just watch the news for a whole class. And then every other class, if they had a TV already installed, that would be on, or they did bring in like the roller TVs. And that was pretty shocking. I deal with bad situations in a very bad way. I make terrible jokes because that's just how I deal with things. I got to say something stupid. So me and my Muslim friend just made possibly the worst jokes ever. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was a very shocking day, and I remember all the stuff after too with Bush, especially his freedom fries, which was possibly the dumbest thing he ever said.
Yeah, well,
I mean, who was really gonna call it freedom fries?
I think the dumbest thing he's ever said was the "fool me once" thing. The "fool me once, shame on me; fool me twice, shame on." You know, well, you know how the saying goes, or whatever the hell he said. Freedom fries. Yeah, no. He was fucking stupid. Also, a god awful war criminal. Carlitos mentioned the 5 million people who died in the Middle East afterwards. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I don't think anybody should ever forget that. And the fucking god awful shit we did with those people outside of just straight killing them. Yeah, it changed the world forever.
Yeah, this is crazy. I was at the Twin Towers a week before. My girlfriend worked at Lehman Brothers.
Lehman, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. I never made it there. I made it there well after.
Yeah, I went for my birthday like a year or two after. They hadn't even completely finished removing the rubble when I visited. Like it was basically all done, but where the whole like complex is now and everything, it wasn't totally clear yet. And found out later when I was there were still 700 bone fragments on top of one of the buildings right next to that area that they didn't even know about until later. Oh no, I didn't go there for my birthday. I went to New York for my birthday. Yeah, let's go celebrate. Yeah. Yeah, my dad, man, he died that day. He was a good pilot. No, but no. So I love New York. I've always loved New York since I was a little kid. Watched on all the movies and everything, and we were close enough. It was like still a 3 or 4 hour drive, but we were close enough that for my birthday, my dad and my stepmom actually took me there. And it would have been cool to see the towers in person. It would have been not even cooler, but it would have been cool to see the new tower that's there too. I haven't gone since it's been built, but I just wanted to visit New York, so they took me for my birthday. Went to Toys R Us, found $200 on the ground, 2 $100 bills.
Nice.
Like it was crazy. Couldn't go to the Statue of Liberty because that was closed off. But yeah, no. But we visited the site while we were there, just because like we all kind of wanted to, I don't know, I guess pay our respects. Like I didn't personally lose anybody there, but it's a weird day. Like it's a weird day for me, maybe all of us, because like I don't know, it's the closest hit to home we've ever had in our lifetime.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, there goes the dog again. Yeah. It was still shocking. Like thinking about it now, and people, I mean, every 9/11 we celebrate it. What is it? Remembrance Day? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the nonstop reports that happen every September, going back over it, and we still get new movies, new documentaries, just more information always popping up on that one, which is very, very interesting, which we'll get into some of the information at the end. The fun side of it.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, the great stuff. It was a lovely time. And then how we reacted and just yeah, the extreme racism was another thing I experienced. My neighbors were Middle Eastern. I can't remember. I think they were from Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but yeah, and it was I didn't realize there were that many like basically Klansmen in my area. But I would be outside skating, like playing on my skateboard. And one time there were these like grown adults, these grown men who stopped their car in front of my neighbor's house because their daughter and her friend were outside playing, and they decided to start harassing the little girl, like talking shit to her, calling her names.
Jesus,
and just being like horribly racist. Like this girl who was, I think, maybe 9. Like she was pretty young. And yeah, that's when I kind of stood there at first and I'm listening to this. I'm like, they're joking, right? And so that's when I walk over to my skateboard and I'm like, dude, you guys got to go. Like, you guys can't do this. You guys got to go.
The skateboard.
Like, that's a little kid. Yeah, it's like, you want to get out of your car, I'm going to hit you with a skateboard. That's how it's going to go.
The weapon a child can have.
Yep.
Well, no,
they called me something and drove off.
Oh, Jesus, dude. Fuck
yeah,
them. Hope they crash, dude. Yep. Like, you see that shit happening now with Palestinians. Like, still. You see that shit happening with There was that woman who, like, tried to kill some kid, if I remember right, when this shit, like, kicked off again for the 15,000th time between Israel and Palestine. Zion and Palestine. And it was a kid. It's a kid, dude. This is a fucking Middle Eastern kid. Like, they didn't strap a bomb to their chest and do some shit. Like, they're in America. They probably they probably don't even know what Palestine is. You know, it's a young kid. Like, you just know you're from the Middle East. Okay. Like, it's terrible, dude. This shit is terrible. And the anti-Muslim it was more than just anti-Muslim. It was just racism. Like, Indian people got it. Indian people got it. Probably some black people got it. If you were black and had some kind of quote funny accent, you probably got it. It was just widespread racism. And a lot of people talk about the unity of this time period, and America was kind of unified, but we had this guy leading us. Yeah, Rudy Giuliani, the fucking ghoul. God, dude, America's mayor. Yeah. America's mayor. Yeah, and I see mention of the Patriot Act in the chat too. Like, 9/11. I see. Yeah, Gwen mentioned it. It's 9/11 will be remembered as the day that the old world died. And it's like, it goes beyond just like, oh, America was attacked and terrible. It is terrible. Like, almost 3,000 people died. That's fucking awful. Yeah. But like, I think what came after it was almost worse. Definitely in terms of hard numbers, it was worse in terms of hard numbers because we killed millions of people in the Middle East, but also worse in terms of like what its implication was to our future. We don't have privacy anymore because of 9/11. Yeah. And all the movie propaganda. Oh my God, dude. I am so sick of like Americana movie propaganda shit. I haven't been checking out new movies lately, but I think that stopped. Like, American Sniper was the last one that I think I know of. Yeah, and that one made me mad. Dude, that was like Nazi level American propaganda. Like, people were raving about it. Like, it's such a good movie. No. Every good American will see this. Like, well, then I guess I'm not a good American. Thank you. I was forced to go see it by somebody at the time that I was unfortunately close to, and the entire time, like, they were all clapping like seals, you know. They were all like, it's a good movie, and they were all happy to watch some guy kill brown people on the screen. But I saw right through it at that point, and I was like, that was another defining moment for me where I was like, wow, something's fucked here. Like, and this right here is something that MTG said. She was tweeting about it. Justify Trump's Putin simping by saying they've been conditioned by movies to dislike Russians. No. Yeah, the only reason we dislike Russians is because this movie propaganda that the left is doing. No. 1. 2, that's stupid. 3. Well, this is MTG we're talking about, so stupid kind of fits in there. Republican cave Barbie. But yeah, no, like, there's been a lot of anti-Russian shit since like the 70s, 60s even. Like, we've been in a Cold War with them since World War II ended. It's still going on. You won't convince me otherwise. It's still fucking happening. So we're in a Cold War with them. And I think that generally Americans have been conditioned to dislike Russians, but that's just like that's a Cold War thing. That's not a movie thing. That's a Cold War thing. And it's more so the Russian government, although a lot of Americans are too stupid to differentiate the people from their government. So I don't know. It's not, there's no justification for simping to another shit tier ex-KGB murderous mob boss dictator. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the whole, I've never understood the whole hating the people. Like, I hate Netanyahu. He's scum.
He is like the most vile of scum. I don't hate Israelis. Like the IDF, that's a little bit different, but just like the normal citizens and the kids, I have nothing against them. Like nothing at all.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why people are so dumb. So dumb. But how do you get to that level of nationalism where you just go full-blown idiot?
Well, I think like this world has been structured. Excuse me. This world has been structured in a nationalist way for like hundreds and hundreds of years. Nationalism wasn't always like how people identified with shit. It was sometimes, it wasn't other times. It's not our whole history. But yeah, Pinky mentions a lack of education. There's a distinct lack of education. Our education system is a fucking nightmare. And anyone who works within it will tell you the same. But yeah, it's a lack of education. It's just hundreds and hundreds of years of people basically being told to identify with their country above anything else. And so like you get people who see, especially in America. Oh, look at America. We're a nation of immigrants. I mean, don't let the Republicans know that, but we're a nation of immigrants. This country is a bunch of people from all over the fucking place. So when you talk to an American, you say like, oh, what are you? They'll be like, oh, I'm Irish, or oh, I'm, Italian, or I'm German, or whatever the hell. So we have this predefined inset nationalism in the United States in particular. And I think that's why they feel that way. That, and they're stupid. I mean, stupidity is always... Yeah, we pledge allegiance to the flag every day. That's like the most nationalist thing you could do.
Well, not anymore. Now we pledge allegiance to the president.
Oh, yeah. And we put our hearts out, give our hearts out.
Yeah.
There, click your heels together and give them your heart. But no, like we're trained to be nationalist from childhood.
Yeah, and we're just trained to be stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, because the whole thing, like the topic we're going to go on was the theories behind 9/11, like the stupid things that people came up with.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can see it's actually missiles hitting the buildings first. And that's why there were like so many bodies weren't found. It's because it was missiles. It just dissolved everyone. And that's just a lack of intelligence. Just absolute lack. Like there's been those Photoshop pictures of when it hit the Pentagon. You can see a missile. It's right there. It's clear as day. It's like, yeah, someone Photoshopped that in. What's your point?
Dude,
what is your point?
That picture for the Pentagon, people are so fucking stupid, dude. People are so fucking stupid. The camera, the picture that everyone thinks of with the plane that hit the Pentagon, the camera took a picture like once every like 20 seconds or whatever the hell, like maybe second or whatever the hell. It took one picture like infrequently. It's not a video camera. But it also had a fish lens. And the like a fisheye lens and the distortion on it. What happened was, if you look at the plane before it hits, and it's a fucking plane, okay? It's a fucking plane that hit that building. Yeah. If you look at the plane before it hits, you see a purple stripe along the side of the plane. Now, if you look at the American Airlines planes at that time, they were aluminum. They had the big, bright, shiny aluminum plating. Yeah. And then they had red, white, and blue lines on them. Because of the compression rate of that camera, it had to mix those colors, and that's why you get a purple line on it. That's why you get this purpley looking streak. It is clearly a plane that hit them.
Yeah. No, it's a missile. It's a missile. The Earth is flat, and you can't prove me wrong.
Yeah, and Pinky brought up Building 7. There's a whole bunch of shit with Building 7. Like, okay. We've all seen the buildings fall. The two towers. We've all seen 3,000 videos of them falling. Our whole fucking lives at this point. We've all seen it. When you watch these buildings fall, despite what a lot of conspiracy theorists will say, they do not perfectly fall in on themselves. The buildings push down, the top floors push down, and the building opens up like a banana.
Yeah.
Effectively. It's fucked up, but it opens up like a banana. And the outside casing falls. But the debris explodes kind of so when the top floors hit the bottom floors between where the fire was happening, there's like an explosion of debris. It's not a bomb, but a lot of people heard that and thought it was an explosion. When the first part of the tower fell and hit the bottom, they thought it was an explosion. So that's where the whole like boom explosion, they put bombs in the building comes from. But you see debris get thrown like 200 yards in every direction around these buildings.
Yeah.
Like burning jet fuel laden debris that hits other buildings around it. That's why some of the other buildings on at the base of the complex went down. Like I think Building 7. Wasn't that the one that went down too? Building 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got hammered with fucking 30 tons of debris from a burning skyscraper falling on it.
Yep. I still remember like the few videos they did show of people who were there when it was happening, recording it and like seeing it come down and then realize like, oh, there's like a tidal wave of debris coming at me.
Yeah. Like people don't seem to understand when a building falls apart like that. It's not a perfect imprint. Like it doesn't just fall within its own profile. That's not how that shit happens. If it was, there's intentionally what?
Yeah. They're so used to seeing like buildings now be demolished when that's what they do is they blow it up and it like goes straight down. It looks pretty cool watching it from a distance.
Oh yeah, it does actually.
Yeah, it's not at all what happened with those buildings. Like nowhere close.
No. What other big theories do you know of for 9/11 though?
I mean, there's also the newer famous one, which is it never happened. It wasn't real.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's been a thing. It's usually dumb kids saying it. Dude, yeah, it never happened.
I would punch a kid for that.
Yeah.
I would punch a fucking kid for that. I don't give a shit, dude. Like, if someone legitimately believes that it never happened, that's like, I don't know. Like I said before, I understand Neil Armstrong when he punched that guy for saying the moon landing wasn't real.
Yeah.
Like, an 80-year-old Neil Armstrong punches a guy out. Like, if someone genuinely doesn't believe it's real, you just need to get your head checked, in my opinion. But what other conspiracy theories do you have?
That Bush planned the whole thing.
What do you think about that one?
He didn't plan anything. If anybody did, it would be Dick Cheney. But Bush was an idiot. Bush was just stupid. He was a good talking piece who had a presidential father. I don't believe that Bush himself had any stand in it. He might have heard word on it because I'm sure they briefed him on it because they can trust him with more stuff than the current people can trust Trump with information. So probably let him in on more. But I don't think he had anything himself to do with it. I just don't see that being too likely. He was too dumb.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was I'm not going to say the R word. He was fucking stupid. Okay. He is stupid. I don't think it was planned. Not by us. I don't think it was planned by us at all. But you want to talk about, there are real conspiracy theories. There's conspiracy theories that are legitimate. There is a lot of weird shit around 9/11, surrounding the day, leading up to the day, months before the day, and months after the day. There's a lot of weird shit that you could pick through and find that's like, did it happen? Is this like, is it coincidence or is this intentional? Like, there was a woman who worked for, I think, the FBI or the CIA, she spoke Arabic and she was doing intelligence readings for one of these alphabet agencies, trying to discover plots effectively, see like if she could pick up on any plans, any plots that Al-Qaeda might have been up to or whatever the hell. And she would translate. I'll translate what Hawk is saying. Not planned by us, but perhaps by them of a certain tribe. Yes. Those of a particular tribe. Mayhap. No. I don't think it was planned by them. No, I think it was planned by Al-Qaeda. Do I think Osama bin Laden was the mastermind behind it? No, we know he wasn't. Yeah. I forget the other guy. I forget what his name was, but Osama bin Laden was not the dude who like planned the whole shit. But There was this woman who's translating Arabic shit from extremist groups, and she found out effectively there would be an attack on America soon. It would take place in a major city. It would involve planes somehow, and they would try to hit iconic buildings in major population centers. So she didn't know it was going to be New York, but you could have guessed. She didn't know it was going to be the Twin Towers, but again, you could have guessed. Because they were the buildings in New York City. But she figured all this out and put a report together, and she didn't send it to anybody. She had it on her computer, and this is according to her. She leaves for the night, and when she comes back, all of her translations and all of the things that she put together are deleted. She goes to her boss and she says, "What the fuck?" And her boss says, like, "Slow down. How about you slow down a little bit?" Whatever the fuck that means. Okay, we could make some guesses, but why don't you slow down a little bit? So she tries to fight this, and she gets fired. She goes to court, and she tries to basically sue the whatever alphabet agency, CIA, FBI. I think it was the CIA. Because they're like the main spooks from this time period. She tries to sue the CIA and get compensation for being fired for no reason, effectively. And then they immediately classify everything about her profile, everything she's ever touched, everything she's ever worked on, everything about her that they have, all of it gets classified. So now they can't have a court case because court can't access classified info. So it gets thrown out. So she's just shut the fuck up and thrown off to the side. And she's been trying to talk about this for 20 years. So that's weird, you know?
Well, yeah, I believe if anybody in this country did, like any organization in this country had something to do with it, CIA did.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely. Yeah. There was the old rumor that they're the ones who basically trained the pilots.
Yep.
Like, they had something to do with the training of the pilots. And I could believe that. I could absolutely believe that because this is the same people who started like the whole, you got to crack down on the drugs. Well, they're the ones who started it. They started it. They created all of our enemies. That's what this group does because they understand if we don't have enemies constantly, what is the country? We're a war country.
Yeah, dude, the CIA are the bad guys. 100%. Like the CIA are god awful. And I think there was some stuff that implicated, it didn't outright say, but it implicated that elements within the CIA and elements within the Saudi Arabian government at the time had something to do with the training of some of the pilots. And I think that so far, everything I've seen has proven that to be fairly legitimate. Was it rogue elements? Was it stuff that people didn't know was going to happen? Like, who the fuck knows? These are spook agencies. We know nothing. Yeah. They don't even know anything. But I do think that if any domestic agency was at all involved with what happened, it would definitely be the CIA.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean... Do you have any other crazy one-off theories that you know of with people or like anything you think might be true?
Just the only thing I think is true is the CIA. And wasn't there, I could be wrong. When Trump was first in office, didn't he release some of the documents? And that's how we found out like the stories from the other country and ours like didn't match. There were some things that were just completely mixed matching on them.
Yeah, if I remember right, and I could be totally wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I remember him releasing stuff that implicated the Saudi Arabians in it. And then they released some shit that implicated our side, and it was kind of like a pissing match for a little bit. But again, could be misremembering that. That's just what I remember. But do you know about the stock trading that happened before the day? The day before, actually?
Oh, the airlines?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah. So they did, I forget what they're called, the type of stock. I'm not a stock bro. I don't fucking care. But they did a specific, it's like betting against the stock of a company where you say like, I'm going to put money down that this company's stock is going to go down real fucking soon. Okay. Somebody put money down, and this was in the 9/11 report too. Like this is fact. Someone put money down on the two airlines involved. What is it? American Airlines and what was the other one? United. I think it was United.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so they put money down on American Airlines and United Airlines that their stock would go down like the next day. The next day happened to be 9/11. Whoever did this walked away with like millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Was that someone in our government who like Nancy Pelosi, who likes insider trading? Was it like that kind of deal? You know what I mean? But they, in the 9/11 report, they determined that it was, again, this could be bullshit too, because you can't trust anything these people say, but they determined that it was not Al-Qaeda, it was not Osama bin Laden, it was not any of these terrorists who did this stock trading. It had to have been someone domestic.
Yep.
So, what the fuck, man?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was Pelosi. That wouldn't shock me at all.
No, not at all. Or Hillary or something.
Yeah.
Or hell, maybe even Trump, man. Who knows? Who knows? But Muhammad Atta, is Muhammad Atta dead?
Yeah, he was one of the pilots.
Oh, yeah, isn't there a theory about him, how he's still alive or some shit?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't actually... No, he's dead. He's fucking dead. No. There's also, like, I know a lot of people debate what happened on flight... what's the one that crashed in PA? Was it 87? Or 97?
90, I believe. 97.
Flight 97? Let me see. 93.
Right.
Flight 93. So there are people who debate what exactly happened on that flight before it went down. I know that's kind of a simmering little debate. Like, some people seem to think that it was shot down. You could listen to... I mean, all this shit's public. There's a great video like that I found that goes over 9/11 minute by minute. It's like a 3-hour video. Watch that shit. You could find the audio recordings between like ATCs and the military. You could listen to like recorded phone calls that were happening within the military. You could they have interviews with politicians like Cheney and shit like that who were involved intimately in this. The call to shoot down Flight 93 wasn't made until like 10 minutes after Flight 93 hit the ground. So one of the theories is that Flight 93 was shot down and the government covered it up. And you could tell that it hit the ground because its transponder like stopped. It disappeared off radar. And there's records of this shit. So like Flight 93 was not shot down, but I know that's a big theory. And then what exactly happened on Flight 93 before it went down? Was it the hijackers who threw it into the ground because they knew they were going to lose? I would say yes, because there's, again, audio evidence of that. You could hear the hijackers talking as the people bust the fucking door down to the cabin. Like, it just, there's a lot of debate about what happened in there, but what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I want to believe it was the crew, or not the crew, the passengers like fighting back. I know that, I mean, that's what all the initial reports were, because there were like phone calls going out.
Yep.
And, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get that link for the video you were talking about. Copy, put that in chat for everyone.
Yeah, dude. What is it called? 9/11 by the...
I put it out there. It's 9/11 in real time. 2022 documentary.
Yeah. Yep. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. Watch that shit.
Yeah. It's but yeah, that one I want to believe it was them who did it, because I believe also they still had radio connection at that point, didn't they? Because that was the same one they screwed up on the radio.
So they actually fucked up on 2 or 3 of the planes. Like, the hijackers thought they were talking to the passengers, but they were actually radioing ATC. So yeah, they still had radio. They turned off their transponder for a bit, but they were still showing up on radar. So yeah, they could still communicate from the plane. That's
the only one I have hope for. I just want to know why the other people didn't, and did they really? Because I remember the initial reports where they had duct taped box cutters to their hands. Now, I'm sorry, but if someone's coming at me and they have the box cutters duct taped to their hands, I mean, I'll take the fall if someone's going to have my back. Like, I'll stop him. I'll get stabbed twice. You take him out. Like, it's going to happen. We're going to do this.
there's no way to know how they did it. You know, there's no way. But like from what I've gathered, the most we know is that I think on one of the flights, the moment the guys got up, they slit a dude's throat. Like the moment they stood up out of their seats, they just offed a guy. That was, and also you got to keep in mind, this all happened in first class and there were those curtains there. So the only people who had an inkling of what was going on were people in first class. Yeah. And then some people, actually, no, nobody from the other two planes that hit the two towers called out, aside from one flight attendant, I believe. She called ATC and was like, we've definitely been hijacked. We need to do something about this. And that was well before it hit the first tower, whichever one it was that hit one of the towers. But there weren't really calls from these other planes because people didn't know what the hell was going on for the most part. They just didn't know. And I hope that most of them didn't know up till the end, you know, like maybe they were just a little confused, but then you're gone because there's no way you're going to feel that when you run into a fucking steel tower at 700 miles an hour.
Yeah, luckily they died quick, and it would be mostly painless because it was too fast.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be like the Titan submersible people. Like your mind can't even register that you're feeling pain before it's just turned to mush. Like they would have been gone without feeling anything, which is the only good part. But yeah, I don't know how much they knew, and there's no way to tell, which sucks. But like there's another one that I just saw again was the explosives. That people think that they brought down the two towers with explosives and or thermite. You had to have heard this one before.
Yep.
What do you think about this one?
Doesn't make any sense. That's a whole other thing about it has to be us who did it. Like we did it to ourselves. We decided to sacrifice everybody in those buildings. And like, yeah, we are a warmonger country. Like we love to be in war. We have to always be in a war. There always has to be an enemy. So let's just sacrifice some of us. I don't think Bush's term in office wasn't the best, but I don't think he was also that corrupt. I mean, he's an idiot. He did a lot of terrible things war crime wise, but I don't think he would do that to his own people. I at least have that much faith in him.
No. Yeah, no. I like I said, this was definitely orchestrated by Al-Qaeda. But I think we capitalized on it because that's what America does. We capitalize on tragedy.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of real theories about that shit where like we used it to do shit that we would have never been able to do if it didn't happen, like the Patriot Act. But that's like fucking entry level. There's a bunch of shit that we've done since then. But with the whole explosives thing, a lot of people say that they used thermite, which thermite is not explosive, first of all. Second of all, there's this committee of like legitimate scientists and shit who found thermite around Ground Zero, in the dust of Ground Zero. They found little flecks of thermite. This has not been confirmed by any other legitimate agency, so take of that what you will, but they say that they found specks of thermite. And the theory with this is that if they did genuinely find thermite is rust, iron oxide, I believe, and aluminum powder, aluminum dust. Okay. The planes were made of aluminum. The buildings had rust in the central columns. Okay. When those planes hit, who's to say that little specks of thermite were not, for lack of a better term, naturally created by them hitting the towers? It could have very well happened. You have a plane that turns to fucking dust and you have rust in the building.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the thermite comes from. And I think if it was legitimate, I think that it was a natural byproduct, again, for a lack of a better term, a natural byproduct of the event itself. So that discredits that shit. But yeah, it's I see something here about, like you said, the missile hitting the Pentagon. The Flight 93 was shot down. Yep. The governments knew about the attacks, but the military stood down. Okay, what do you think about that? That we knew about the attacks, but the military was told to stand down.
Yeah, I don't believe that they were told to stand down. I don't think they knew what was going to happen. It was just like, it was that same thing. It all comes back to those reports. Because there was talk that they knew. and I believe they knew rumors, like they heard word, but that was it. Like it's basically like before the Switch 2 was announced, we heard rumors there was going to be a new Switch, but we knew jack about it until they actually showed us an image of like, hey, it actually is going to be a Switch like.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
they didn't know anything to be able to do anything. Like, what are they going to do? Just be on like high alert everywhere? Just have like choppers and planes just circling the whole country constantly?
I mean, now I wouldn't put it past them, but back then that shit wouldn't have flown. No pun intended. But I mean, like they knew that something was coming. The government knew elements, let's say it this way, because our government is not a single entity. Our government is a bunch of factions that are constantly fighting each other. Our government, and what I include in our government is the alphabet agencies, because they are our fucking government. They are definitely our government. But elements within our government knew that the attack was coming, but what you saw on display with 9/11 was a system that was created to prevent external attacks from coming in with NORAD, the North American Defense, whatever the hell. That system was created to stop attacks from Russia, to stop attacks from China, to stop attacks from whoever the hell, near peers, whatever. But it had a total blind spot for internal attacks.
Yep.
Nobody had prepared. Like, people had known like hijackings had happened before, like this shit had happened, but nobody had expected terrorists to take planes and use them as fucking missiles and fly them into buildings.
Yeah. Like,
it was totally unexpected. And if you look at that video that you put in the chat there, that 3-hour video, I guarantee you it's worth the watch. You could see step by step. Nobody could even tell what the fuck was happening even after it happened. Like, our military people, they were like, what the fuck's going on? They had bad reports, they had fake reports, they had old reports, they had all kinds of information, and nobody could make head or tail of what the hell was actually going on, aside from the fact 2 planes just hit the towers. That's what they knew for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
It was a failure in a system that was designed for something totally different. And now it's not. Now we have a new system.
Yep. Yeah, because if they hadn't been getting word from like pilots coming from like France or something like that, they would have been on top of it. It would have been stopped before it got here. And I'm sure they were ready for that. That's probably all they were looking at. Yep.
That would have fallen under NORAD. It only looked for external threats coming in. Our hubris prevented us from even thinking about the idea that anybody could attack this heavy from within.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's I think most of the theories are from people who don't know any better. From people who are just they don't understand what happened fully, and it's like Dunning-Kruger in practice, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's the perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Just like with the whole bomb thing. A lot of the people in the videos from the event, you hear them say, like, I heard an explosion. I heard an explosion. I heard an explosion. There were some explosions, which were secondary explosions of like gas tanks blowing the fuck up and shit. Like, those happen. Yeah. But most of the people who were on the ground right there thought that when the buildings were coming down, that was an explosion. And if you don't, like, they didn't see what we saw. They weren't 3,000 yards away looking at the buildings falling. So if you're right there, you just see fire coming down on you and you hear a big ass boom. So it sounds like an explosion. And I think that's where that theory started.
Well, that's kind of like where I live. Like, people will hear like a pop, like a bang pop noise, and they'll be like, oh, someone's shooting. It's like, no, that's not a gunshot. Like, that's just not a gunshot.
Yeah. It's just ignorance and Dunning-Kruger. I think that's the majority of the conspiracy theories. And it sucks because, like we've mentioned, there are real conspiracies that like seem genuine and legit and are worth looking into, and they're just totally fucking discredited because of these idiots, you know?
Yep. Makes it real easy to like prove the truth.
Yeah. We'll never know the truth, dude. Maybe 15 generations from now, they'll find the documents in the ruins of America's capital. Whoever's here at that point will know the truth.
Well, it's just going to be a bunch of pages that are just blacked out completely. Just everything's redacted.
just the whole ass like binders full of pages with nothing but black bars.
Yeah. People are going to be looking at like, so this is the language from back in the early 2000s. It was just black lines.
They worshipped an orange man and they read in black lines. It was strange. Yeah.
And there was some guy named Epstein.
Yeah, there was some major, really, really loved figure named Epstein. Everybody went to him for anything they needed. No, yeah, man, we'll never know. We'll never know the truth of it. It pisses me off that there are people who, I guess now I know, outright deny it, but also people who are kind of spitting on what happened that day with their totally fucking stupid ideas that come from nowhere but their own stupidity. And I want the truth in all things. I want the truth spread in all things. And we just can't get that with this because of idiots. And they make me very mad because it does hit home for me in particular, for you in particular, for all of us. It hits home more than most other things.
Yeah. Yep. But no, we have to deal with idiots. I swear, it has to be the same people who believe flat Earth. Like God. It just, and a lot of them are like people I have met that don't like to come up with the weird theories. Like, oh yeah, it was a missile. They are the same ones who have said like the Earth is flat and this is why.
Fucking dumbasses, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't understand them.
They're too far gone, man. They're too far gone. We'll never save them. Carlitos asked about a trend that went viral on TikTok, where it's Gen Z reading Osama's, I almost said Obama, that would have been Osama's letter to America and saying that it was based. I think I vaguely remember that, but to be honest, I probably blocked it because that shit pisses me right the hell off. But also that makes me think of how a lot of Gen Zers on TikTok just do like shock jokes with 9/11. Mm-hmm. And I don't get it because you don't see like you and I talked about this at work. You don't see shock jokes from like fucking Pearl Harbor or anything like that. Like you don't see that shit. It's just you don't do it. You don't touch that. You know what I mean? Like
the day we talked about that, I spent all day trying to come up with one and I couldn't.
Yeah, there's no fucking joke to be made about like 3,000 people dying in a horrific fucking airplane crash, multi-airplane crash, and buildings coming down and an entire. Do you know how many? Dude, they spent like a year just picking up parts of people from the whole area. Parts of people, dude. Like this. And I know what we did was way, way fucking worse. What we did to them was beyond worse than what they did to us. And it doesn't excuse either event. Okay. They've been picking up parts of people for 20 fucking years at this point because of us. And I think that's just as fucked up, but I don't live there. And I live here. We live here and we know people who are affected by this. And it's like, for people to make a joke about that shit, it just pisses me off, man. That you don't do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel the same way about like basically the racists who are starting to talk about like, who then talk about the other countries and how we should like bomb them and stuff. Like, no, because there are innocent people who have nothing to do with this. Nothing at all. Yeah. And they find it hilarious that, oh yeah, we just go over there and blow up. Like, you guys have issues, just major issues. I mean, that's when I first started doing like protests and stuff, is because it was about our reaction to it and how we were just going over there and like, we got to bomb everyone. We got to bomb this country and this country and this country. And it's like, no. And then we had people like Blackwater going over there and they did great things. You know, they were just a great, wholesome group of people.
God, dude. Well, it's like, murder is never right. Like it's never justifiable. It's never something that should be done. If you have to take someone's life, it should be like in defense and as a last resort kind of thing. Like I get it in the moment someone breaks in, they have a gun or something, you shoot, I get that. Or like wars happen and I don't blame soldiers for participating in a war. I blame soldiers for committing war crimes. But like, I forgot what I was going to say. I saw Carlitos say something. Oh yeah, with the jokes, like there are some like on color jokes you can make about 9/11. I'm all for comedy. I don't think anything is totally untouchable. You could joke a bit about some shit. You could joke a bit about anything. You and I have joked a bit about it. I even did it on this video. I said about how my dad was a pilot. But like, that's not like just I'm going to show 9/11 happening and go funny, and then fucking move on to the, like, that's not the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're totally different things. It's not shock comedy to just show people fucking dying. That's not fun. Yeah. But what did Carlitos say?
Yeah, and I want to talk about this too, because that was another thing. This is the whole Blackwater thing that I was talking to you about the other week. So the head guy of what was called Blackwater and then turned into XE and then turned into the Academy and now is the Catel. What is it? C starts with a C.
It's something C group. I think Academy is still it, but they're part of that other group.
Oh, no, the Academy names dropped once they got bought out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it is all part of Concerto? Concerti?
Well, they have the Academy on their website, though.
No. Yeah, I was reading about them the other day. But, yeah, he wants to do his whole thing, the same thing that the creepy, bald, vampire-looking guy who helped write Project 2025, Stephen Miller. Same thing he wants to do, which is basically hire just like civilian military and including like the Blackwater type guys to do the immigration roundups.
God. Yeah, just more fucking Gestapo.
Yeah, because he knows that they're going to do what they did and kill a bunch of civilians. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. I mean, the group that they're part of now, they've already been like looked into because they don't teach their people how to shoot a gun. Just give them a gun, spray and pray, essentially.
Oh, that's a good method. That's a good way of doing it. Well, dude, that's why. Have you ever heard the stories about these fucking mercenary companies over in the Middle East in the early to mid 2000s? Like, do you know how shit went down, aside from them killing civilians, because that actually made mainstream news? But do you know what it was like for most of these fucking people around there?
Weren't they just harassing everybody?
Well, they were harassing everybody, but half the time they would fucking shoot at each other. They were shooting at each other, and they were shooting at our own fucking military. Like, if you were in the Army or the Marines, ask anybody who was over there, who was deployed in action in the early to mid 2000s, you would have pot shots taken at you by fucking jumpy ass mercenaries who had no idea what the fuck they were doing and was shooting anything.
And Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, it's not inaccurate. These dudes would just shoot at everybody. It was it was a fucking chaotic war zone, especially when the government collapsed in Iraq in particular. Shit went bonkers, dude. Like, that country became like apocalyptic at that point. And it's like, it's fucked up. These are people, some of them are former military vets who have training. They can keep a cool head for the most part, but they're just psychopaths. But some of them are just fucking LARPers who want to go shoot brown people. Like, that's... Have you noticed YouTube now throw this guy called Sean Ryan is getting all these veterans on low-key glorify the lifestyle? Oh, Sean Ryan. How do I know that name?
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
Did you talk about him before, Carlitos? No. Oh, yeah. I think you've mentioned Sean Ryan before. I know of him. I've seen his shorts and shit. Yeah, he's a whole gung-ho, military is best, fucking glorify this whole, like, kill everybody lifestyle. Yeah, the guy's a nut, dude.
Oh, yeah, he had our best Trump nominee ever, Pete Hegseth. Had him on the show.
Dude, he had some fucking right-wing, fundy Christian psychopath on relatively recently. I think that's when Carlitos mentioned him last time. This dude is fucking nuts. And he just platformed him and gave him this huge crowd of people to spew his shit to. But yeah, no, this guy, he's been around for a long time, because I know a lot of veterans. I've known a lot of veterans. I like guns. I do like guns. I'm not a gun nut. I'm not like some fucking crazy gun nut. I own one gun. But I do watch some gun shit on YouTube sometimes. So I get thrown into right-wing loops a lot of the time. And I've seen this guy before he blew up, but he did blow up relatively recently.
Nice.
He's shitty, dude. And he tries to be neutral, but you could tell he's not.
No, so kind of like Piers Morgan, where he claims, "Oh yeah, I have no opinions on this," but he just gives his strong opinions nonstop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not on the gun algorithm. Yeah. So I don't want to be on the gun algorithm, dude. Like, I'll look up a video of like a historical gun or an experimental gun because I like that weird shit, the weird one-off shit that you never see. I'll look up like space guns, how the Germans made a space gun and shoots square bullets. It's fucking awesome. I'm a little CIA operator, but it's true, dude. I would not be surprised if it turned out he's a spook, man. But you watch one fucking gun video about a weird, obscure gun, or like I watch Forgotten Weapons. They do a lot of historical stuff and weird stuff. You watch one video and then you're in the gun loop. You get nothing but gun videos for like 3 days. I hate it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, luckily I avoided that. I actually got a video that kind of concerned me today, and it was it's some lady's name, like Miss Bowden or Borden or something like that. The Good Christian, or the Best Christian, that's what it was. America's Best Christian. And I was like, oh, do I want to watch this? But her title was Tax the Churches. And I was like, okay, I have to see what this is about.
Ooh.
And oh my God, she is great. She is fantastic. She starts off by calling out Joel Osteen.
Oh, okay. That fucking
and bashing the fact that he, has this huge church, which used to be a basketball stadium.
Yep.
And it holds like just a stupid amount of people in there. And the fact that he won't give up his money, even though Jesus says to give your money to the poor. But the way he thinks of it, and this is her words, is that if he does that, then he'll be poor and they'll have to give it back to him. So he's just skipping a step and, keeping it for himself.
Yeah. Dude, Osteen is the devil.
Yeah. Well, is it him or is it the older guy, the one who looks like a demon?
Both,
crazy eyes.
Yeah, being a tube full of demons.
Yeah.
I forget his fucking name. That nut. I think they're all the devil, dude. If you're in charge of a mega church, you should just be thrown out into space. So just be spaced. That should be the new. I'm not saying we should kill him. I'm not saying we should kill him because killing is wrong. But just open the airlock.
Yeah. Yeah, the one you're talking about is the richest pastor. What is his name? Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland. Yeah, there was Monkey Man too. Pat Robertson or whatever the hell. He died. He looked like a fucking chimp. He was a big fundy who talked on TV and radio and shit for like 1,000 years because he's fucking ancient. Thankfully he's dead because that dude like conned a bunch of Africans out of like food and water and shit, and conned a bunch of Americans out of money that he said would go to Africans.
Yep.
And took diamonds and shit from him, dude. Like, I'm glad he's not here, okay?
Yeah.
He was a straight up fucking con man.
He would be the next president.
He would be. He'd make a great president. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
No,
so you want to talk about a movie?
Yes. Let's talk about the movie.
Yes, because it ties into what we're talking about heavily. Because there is one organization that is pretty scummy in America, and that's the CIA. So we watched The Report, which stars Adam Driver, which we were surprised to see that there's another Adam Driver movie we never knew of.
Yeah,
it has a pretty good cast. Like, the cast is phenomenal in this. Him, John Hamm. Yeah.
Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter being in it. That was pretty awesome. Whatever his name is. I can't remember right now.
Dexter.
Yeah. Michael C. Hall. There we go.
Corey Stahl, too.
Yep. Yeah, the bad guy from Ant-Man.
Yep. I recognize that chick, Mara, whatever the hell her name is. Mara Tierney. She's been in some shit that I've seen. Yeah, she was
Liar, Liar.
Yeah, she's one of the like hot chicks from Twisters. She's in Liar, Liar too. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. So if you've never seen this movie, it was a not Netflix, an Amazon Prime original movie, whatever they call their stuff.
Yep.
And it goes over the true story, or it's based on the true story. It's based on an article about the true story of it's David Jones, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And how he was hired by Dianne Feinstein when she was still alive and coherent. And gosh, her legacy is ruined. Like, this would have been her legacy had she not just decided to never leave Senate and
to
all
just
that.
die and still be on the seat.
Yep. Yeah, so this is like her big thing that she did. She went through and she hired this guy to go ahead and investigate to see what really happened, what is going on behind the scenes for the investigations and basically the torture that happened by the CIA.
Yep.
Like all the disgusting things that they let happen.
And
it's a very, very good movie. Like, it's well done to follow the story of what they did. I'm sure there's a lot of exaggeration and they cut out quite a bit because, I mean, a lot of it still isn't fully known.
Yeah.
But they did a good job of showing what was going on between those parties. Like, it was between the Senate, between Democrats and Republicans, also between Senate versus the CIA, and then the White House.
Yep. Like,
covering all those parties together and seeing how deep it went and how vile it was and what these Daniel Jones and his small team had to go through during this investigation. That lasted months of them going through it just for it to have to go through hell to basically even get somewhat released.
Yeah. Yeah. It was also made by Vice. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Say what you will about modern Vice, but Vice used to be the fucking news people back in the day. Yeah. Like, Vice went in the shit back in the day.
Yep.
But no, what do you think about this movie? I have my thoughts, but what do you think about this movie?
Oh, I loved it. I think they did a good job. Like, big fan of it. I would say it's probably about a 7 out of 10. That's kind of high, but 7 out of 10 because of acting, cast.
Yeah, the cast is fucking great. I think this movie is like a 6, maybe a 7, if I have to give it a number. I think it's hard to give it a number. I don't like the number system. It's just weird. It's not weird. It makes sense, but people bastardize it now.
There's only 10s or 0s.
Well, yeah, no, it's either 10 or a 5, and a 5 is garbage. So, no, but it's very long, and it is quite dry through a lot of it. So if you're not invested in the subject, it's probably boring as hell to some people.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was boring personally, but I could see this boring the shit out of a lot of people. But I think that its cast was great and the acting was great. It's what you'd expect from a cast of this caliber. I mean, it's stacked. Everybody in it is amazing. But something sits wrong with the movie. Something about this movie sits wrong with me, and I don't know why, and I don't really know exactly what it is. I think because by the end of it, I was thinking to myself, what did they actually change? Like, this is based on true events. This actually happened and everything. They got the report out. We know that the CIA was torturing people in the early 2000s after 9/11 because of that.
And lying about it.
And lying about it, because that's what they fucking do. Lying about it. But, like, did they stop?
They got, they worked with Obama. That was the one cool thing Obama did was basically put tighter restrictions on what torture we can do. I mean, they're still doing torture. They didn't completely ban it, but they limited it quite a bit, which is good, but not great.
That's the thing. There's a scene that what's his face, the guy from Ant-Man, the bald guy, says. I think that he's like the lawyer. He says to Adam Driver, like, it comes down to wording. It comes down to how you say shit, and that defines things. So, did they actually stop torturing? I don't think so. I think they stretched and changed the definition of torture, and we're still probably doing the same shit today that we were doing back then.
Well, see, Obama replaced torture with drone strikes.
Yeah, it's just drone strikes now. So it's better. No, it's just like how when our government will say, oh, yeah, we're not in Iraq or Afghanistan anymore. Well, when we still weren't in, or when we still were in Afghanistan, saying like, oh, we're pulling soldiers out of Iraq and Afghanistan. And they do pull a lot of soldiers out, but then a bunch of fucking mercenaries come in. They're American mercenaries. And we're still doing shit over there. We're still acting over there. And it's like, okay, so they stopped the torture, but did they really stop the torture? I don't think they did. And like this movie,
they stopped it on U.S. grounds.
Yeah, they just stopped doing it on American soil. Like that's so it's like they do all this shit, they fight for all this shit, but by the end of the movie, it's like, what was it worth? What was it worth? Yeah. I just don't think, and it's not a movie, it's not the movie's fault, but it sucks. But I also will say that this movie did a great job at showing, and they even like talk about it. They all but say it. What I mentioned earlier, how our government is a bunch of independent factions.
Yeah.
And like they really display that here, how like the CIA, the FBI, the House, you know, the president, these are all their own factions that are doing what they want on their own. And there's one scene where one of the guys, I think, for the liaison from the CIA to what's her face, the senator, what's her name? Feinstein, where she's like, oh, it might lower morale within the CIA and we'll lose them. And she says, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean we'll lose them? Like that line in particular just shows like we could fucking lose the CIA. They could be a totally rogue agency and we'd be screwed.
Yep.
I don't know. It was depressing, I guess. It's just a depressing movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could have the CIA do like good things.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'd give it a 6.57. It left me feeling unsettled.
Yeah. No, that's life. Because people are trash.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, for the story they tell, it is a well done telling of it.
It is. It's a good movie. Just be prepared.
Yep.
They also show some torture shit, so I would strap in for that if you have a hard time seeing that kind of shit, because they do show a lot. Yeah.
No, dude, they show like waterboarding, and they show like the dude's counting down the time, and they show a good section of it. It's like, that's a bit much. And they were like, oh yeah, we tested it on ourselves first. Like, no, you didn't. No.
Wait, and how callous the CIA was. And watching this, you fucking know that's probably how they actually were. When they were like, yeah, we're entertaining. We're sitting here at a fucking board table entertaining the idea of torturing people who are probably innocent just so they could tell us stuff that we could relay to the government so they could keep giving us more money. Like we're honestly entertaining this idea and we're all okay with it. And they were just so fucking blasé about it. Like it's disturbing, dude.
Yep. Great stuff. Yeah.
Isn't America great?
Yep. Oh yeah, but I also was talking about the Republicans versus Democrats at the beginning of it, and this happened. Republicans were against an investigation being done.
Yep.
Like they were hardcore against it. And they show that in the movie, which is beautiful. They do show that.
Yep.
That reminds me of another thing. So I can't remember which state it's in, but there's a certain state. It's either like Colorado or some red state down south, something like that. But there's a Republican who came out against changing a law. They wanted to like solidify the fact that you can't beat a person just because they're disabled.
So they wanted to make it okay to beat people while they're disabled?
That's currently okay. They're trying to make it to where it can't be done anymore.
Why the fuck is that still okay?
Well, this guy puts it out clearly as why he fought it. He decided to go out there and start listing Bible verses because basically God wants us to beat disabled people.
Oh, okay.
Beat the disability out of them. If they have like a mental disability, you have to beat it out of them.
Yeah, no, that works. Yeah, no, that happened to me too. You know, I had a mental disability, but now I'm cured because my dad beat the shit out of me. So, you know,
yeah,
it works, dude. Just like, I mean, I was gay too, and then I got beat to hell, and now I'm straight. I'm married and everything. Like, why the fuck is this not law? Like the whole what is it? Like the last state to change the age of consent from like 12 to fucking 18 was, I think it was like Alabama or some shit, and it happened in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, there's still somewhere I think that it's 16.
Oh my god, dude. Or with like laws about slavery and shit, like it was legal to lynch people in some southern states until like the 90s.
Yeah. We also had a guy like a year or two ago, he tried to push the fact that it should be okay for you to like sleep with your cousin.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you people?
Like, if it's your first cousin, I think that's all right. Like, we could call that okay, right?
Yeah, it's baffling. It is baffling.
Oh God! At least we're entertaining, if nothing else. This country is entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, we're special.
Oh, yeah, special's a word for it.
Let's move on to our SCP.
Yes, I think you're up this time.
Yep.
Or is it me? I think it's you.
No, it's me. Yeah, you did the last one.
All right.
This is another kind of short one. There's a little bit more to it than last week. But so yeah, it's SCP-7678. We first get to it. Attention, the following database entry is level 5 7678. Any attempt to access this file without proper authorization will result in immediate termination. You have been warned. So I hope you're all ready to be terminated. Let's do this.
Please. Come on.
Let's
please, God, please.
And it's an item. And it is Thanos. It's Thanos.
Thaumiel.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Umiel.
So its special containment procedures is NA, which is awesome.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. The description of the SCP is a Foundation-made memetic agent embedded in the automated inductory email that is sent to all newly hired employees. The SCP is designed to alter an individual's sense of identity and beliefs, align them with the Foundation's ideological expectations for its personnel, and erasing traits deemed hindering or disruptive to the Foundation's mission. And this is the head of the memetics department. So the history. With the arrival of the World Wide Web to the public in 1993, the Overseer Council began seeking a more efficient and reliable alternative to the Department of Reform. Give me 1 second. It may be huge on my screen, and that was probably really loud, but I need my glasses.
No, it wasn't that loud.
Oh, okay. I did it like right next to the mic too. Given the considerable resource expenditure and questionable practices of the department, which often put the overseers at odds with the ethics committee. In August 1993, that's a 05-1. I thought it was a 0 at first. 05-1. Yeah, I hate when people. So we work phone jobs, and we have people who call in and for 0 say "oh," and it's so frustrating. I don't know why. It just bugs the crap
out of me. Dude.
Yeah. So in August of 93, 05-1 personally commissioned the Department of Memetic Studies to create a memetic agent capable of replicating the effects of the therapy carried out by the Department of Reform without the need for physical or extensive intervention. the result of which is SCP-7678. And then we have a bunch of addendums. So the following are logs from the testing period of the SCP prior to its completion. So we have May 12th, 1993. Subject is D81536. The subject is a captured member of the Chaos Insurgency. The subject expired immediately upon exposure to the memetic agent.
Okay.
The next one is 97153. This subject is a supporter of Marxism, Leninism. Upon exposure to the memetic agent, the subject began convulsing violently and expired 2 hours following exposure.
You know what that means, though? They were a dirty fucking communist. That's what that means.
Well, the next one you're going to like even more. So, May 31st, we have 44292. And this one is a supporter of the racial beliefs held by the German National Workers' Party.
The NSDAP.
Upon exposure to the memetic agent, this subject began mildly convulsing and lost consciousness 7 minutes following exposure. The subject regained consciousness 13 hours after the test was diagnosed with retrograde amnesia.
Wait, so the Nazis survived? But
they were just a supporter of the belief, so they're just a neo-Nazi.
So just, the tiny hats are bad.
Yeah.
The mestizoids, they're not cool. But everything else that the guys did was pretty bad. The windmill boys, they're just, they're bad,
Yep. And this one is Pol-2852 from July 5th of 93. This subject is a captured member of the radical sect of the Church of the Broken God. The subject was seemingly unaffected by the memetic agent, but there was a noticeable drop in hostility and a decrease in religious practices within a few weeks following the test. A mild success.
Yeah, it had good effects there. A decrease in religious practices. That's what I like to see.
And then July 16th, we have senior researcher Arthur Brown. Researcher Brown was suspended due to severe violations of the Foundation's Code of Conduct, including inappropriate sexual conduct with a contained anomaly. It was probably one of the cactuses. That's my guess.
I hope so, dude.
In the weeks following...
Cactuses kind of got sexy after that streak, dude. I don't know about you.
In the weeks following exposure to the memetic agent, researcher Brown adopted a cynical personality unbecoming of him and confessed the extent of his crimes to the ethics committee. A success.
Oh, look at that. Oh, wowzers. I don't know. Was Carlitos here for the cactus streak?
I don't think so. Maybe the last cactus we did.
Oh man, Carlitos, you missed the best of the best. It was like 4 weeks of cactus stories.
And then the last one is July 17th. Senior researcher Simon Agler. Agler was a biological male who identified himself as female. 2 weeks following exposure to the memetic agent, Agler ceased identifying as female.
Turned unwoke.
Yeah. Yep. It ungatified him. It's something that a certain political group would love to have happen, but also they would hate it because that's what they want.
It sounds like a cure for the woke mind virus.
That reminds me. There's a group of Reds who are going after gay marriage. They want to try to end it again.
Why? We knew it was going to happen.
Because, and this is their words, because it violates the sanctity of marriage and their basically it violates God. It violates God. Against God.
It violates God.
Yeah. And what's funny is I watched this actual gay guy cover that story. And he was like, and I consider myself a master of knowing everything that's gay. And hello, sis.
Oh my God.
He was like, I can't wait for the day that you're at some truck stop glory hole and you're on your knees and you're going to have your mouth full of something and it's definitely not God.
Me either. Oh no, Carlitos, do you mean Milo as in like Milo Yiannopoulos? Is that am I thinking of the right? Maybe you're talking about something completely different. But you just said
when I think of Milo, I think of the band Milo Goes to College, The Descendants.
Well, I just think of in that Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, that fucking piece of shit, dude.
Who's that?
He's a Republican token gay. Like he's some tea-swilling Brit who again like
could just said Fuentes.
Fuentes, he is definitely gay. He is definitely gay. Oh yeah, that's right. Milo Yiannopoulos prayed the gay away. He is no longer gay. Good luck spelling his last name. It's Greek, I think.
I didn't have to. We said it enough that Google was listening.
Google popped up.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. Yeah,
dude. So a show that I used to watch called The Drunken Peasants destroyed him, and totally unintentionally. They just set him up to basically say that like he thinks pedophilia is kind of okay, and he was on the cusp of a huge break, dude. He was like skyrocketing in the Republican Party, had book deals, had talking deals, had news segments. This dude was on the path to like Tucker Carlsonism, okay? And then he goes on their show, which at the time was the biggest YouTube podcast like on the platform. He says the pedophilia is like kind of okay, and then he just gets destroyed. Yeah, he went on Rogan to say it too. He went on Joe Rogan first, and for some reason that clip didn't blow up. But then he goes on Drunken Peasants, and that's the clip that they wound up playing on fucking like news and shit. It was crazy, dude.
Nice.
He is an edgelord. He's a huge edgelord.
Yeah, he looks interesting.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's a grifter. He's just a pure grifter. That's the best way to describe him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we did the weird thing. So let's do some good news to finish off the show. Or at least happier news, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I almost forgot about that. All right. Sure. It's easy to forget about the goods. Well, not the goods, but the good news. All right. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's pretty big. All right. So we got scientists harness phantom limb to allow an amputee to feel hot and cold in a new prosthetic. I think this is like the finger that they're making. I hope it's a middle finger.
Oh, hold on 1 second. 1 second.
What?
He managed the Ye24 campaign for president. Or Ye, whatever he calls himself.
Kanye. It's Kanye.
With Fuentes. That's shocking.
Yeah, the fucking troop of failures.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so this is the fingy. This is the finger, okay? Apparently, amputees can feel hot and cold with this thing, whatever the hell this setup is, and phantom limb shit, okay? So phantom limb is one of those enduring medical mysteries that someone could feel sensations in a hand which had long ago been lost to amputation. A little like harnessing the placebo effect, scientists have been able to stimulate nerve endings on the skin of an amputated arm, which trigger thermal phantom limb sensations, including hot and cold. Adapting one's patient's existing prosthetic arm and socket with sensors and thermodes, which is a cool name, or small devices which can change temperature placed on these key nerve endings, allowed the man to distinguish a hot water bottle from a cold or room temperature one, not because his prosthetic was detecting it, but because his phantom limb was detecting it, which is wild, dude.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And this just brings up more questions with what the fuck phantom limb shit is. Like, this is crazy. But in a previous study, we have shown the existence of these spots in the majority of amputee patients that we have treated, says Salomon Schoker of the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne. What is that? Lausanne?
Sure.
Yeah, in L.
Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah, not Louisiana, Louisiana. Study participant Fabrizio Fidati was able to tell the temperature of a bottle grasped by his modified prosthetic 100% correctly, failing to just 1/3 without it. Warmth is the most beautiful sensation there is, Fidati told Shokur. It's an interesting technology that would serve to improve prosthetics a lot. The integration of these sensations, hot and cold, in my opinion, we need to shake hands and improve social interactions with other people. Heat is fundamental. So yeah, it just goes on about how it's important and everything. But yeah, so they can let amputees feel hot and cold now using phantom limb syndrome and some kind of weird tech.
That's pretty awesome.
I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yep. Which when you're talking about the phantom limb made me think of something. So when I was paralyzed and the doctor was trying to like see if I really was paralyzed, started like trying to tickle my foot.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time I'm watching him and I'm thinking like, oh my God, my feet are super ticklish. And I'm like tensing for it. And then he started doing it. I was like, oh, that's right. I can't feel anything.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Like the human mind and body and the connection between them is just kind of nuts. And we don't fully understand it. Oh yeah, Carlitos asked about you being paralyzed.
Oh, I thought I talked about this before. Yeah, so I had Guillain-Barré, and so I was like paralyzed from basically here down.
Yeah. Yep. It was scary shit, man.
Yeah, and I was told I was never going to walk again, and that just made me start trying to do my own physical therapy after they let me out of rehab. And I finally got myself walking again. It took like a month?
Yeah, I think a month, give or take. Yeah. Yeah, we that was after the first job we met at, right? That was just after that. Yeah, so we met at a job that I mean, all of our jobs have sucked ass, but we met at a job, and we wound up basically renting a house, and that's when this happened, and it was crazy. That was wild, dude. And I remember you saying that they told you wouldn't be able to walk again. It's like, how the fuck do you deal with that? How do you process that? Like, it's just, but then finally, I remember you forced yourself to walk and shit and wound up getting back.
Yeah, I spent like all day while you were at work just going up and down the stairs, just crawling until I could finally get some movement going. And I finally started to get somewhere, and that was epic. And then right when I finally got like full control and I was good, not using a cane or crutches anymore, I got a skateboard and went skateboarding.
Yep. As you should.
Yep. I was like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, man. It was good that you rebounded. I remember that. I remember feeling kind of glad that I didn't see you like collapse, because you said you were in someone's front yard, if I remember right.
I was inside their house, like when it first started. I was helping. When it all started, it was super weird. Usually you get Guillain-Barré from like a disease, like some illness comes on, or an injection, like some vaccine gives it to you. Mm-hmm. And there's also studies going into it. There's a lot more anti-GAD antibodies and all this other stuff that could have a play in it. It's still truly a pretty unknown illness.
Yeah.
But I was helping someone replace their flooring. So I'm like kneeling down, one knee on the ground, other one's kind of like bent, and I'm like leaning over it all day for a couple hours, like pulling up stuff. And I went to go stand up, and I was like, oh, my leg's asleep. And it started with just my left leg. Yeah. And so I sat down, and like I'm resting on the couch, and like I'm trying to like shake my leg awake, and it just won't wake up. And I was like, this is weird. It's going on for like an hour at this point. Like, why is it not waking up? And then the next morning I wake up, and I'm like, my other leg feels like it's half dead. And I'm like, I don't get what's going on. My one leg is completely asleep still, and my other leg is starting to feel like it's going to sleep.
Yeah.
And as we went throughout the day, like we went over there to go finish the job and all that to now lay the flooring since we had ripped it up the day before. And again, it feels like it's going up higher. So then person I was dating at the time, she took me to the urgent care, which was kind of close by. And they started filling around. They're like, we got to get you to the hospital now. Like this is going to be pretty bad. You got to get to the hospital. And yeah, that's when they started going through and they were doing all these tests and stuff. And they did the same thing, like try to tickle my foot. And I'm tensing. And then they're still doing it. And I just kind of relaxed. And that's when they realized I can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just like faking it. I really couldn't feel anything.
It's scary shit, dude.
Yeah. I have this fear of like kneeling down for too long, which I did it today because now bless you. Now I cut my own hair and, I was like squatting down while doing it, and my left leg has been feeling kind of weird since then. And I'm just like, I always freak out when something like that happens. It's like, I don't want to go through that again. I really don't.
Yeah, dude, fuck that. I'd be freaking out too. Like it's scary. Like when something happens like that to you, where it either does affect the rest of your life, or you're told or feel like it'll affect the rest of your life, and then you somehow rebound from it. It's terrifying. Like you never want to fucking go back to that. I mean, and especially with losing all feeling from like not even just like the waist, but low chest down, you know?
Yeah. And then for this, is it genetic? I don't know. I mean, I've spent a lot of time looking into Guillain-Barré and like the anti-GAD antibodies. It could be genetic, but there's no like 100% research done on it. Yeah. It's still like, even when I was at the doctor, like one of the neurologists, he wasn't even my neurologist. He just happened to hear about it, and he worked in the same office as one of the doctors, and he just came in to talk to me. He was like, "Hey, I just want to be at least hopefully give you some like light on this and say that, you know, there is more research going in on it. There's just not enough to fully confirm why you have this." Because mine was atypical too. Usually it would hit both legs, or like it would start up top and work its way down. Mine started with just one leg and they worked their way up. And it was like kind of at different levels until it got to like under here, like underneath my rib cage. And that's when they that's when they got really severe. And that was, so when it got off my rib cage, I was in rehab already. Like they were trying to get me to walk, but, they were like, one day I couldn't do my therapy. I just couldn't. Like I felt super weird, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm pinching my stomach, trying to like feel where it stops. Like where can I start to feel something again? And they were like, did you lose more feeling? I'm just like, yeah, I think so. And like, they were touching me too. And like, they had me close my eyes, like cover my eyes, and they were like touching me. And so like, hey, yeah, you got to go back to the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's not fun. That did not seem fun at all. It's
yep. Yeah, that was a low light in life. That was a very, very strong low point. That was not cool.
That whole time period was pretty fucking low, I'd say. There was a lot of lows.
Yeah, I think that pissed me off the most is I had just started a new job.
Yeah.
And I started off as a temp, and they were going to be hiring me literally the day after I came down with the Guillain-Barré. That was the day they were supposed to hire me on full time. That was going to be my first full time, actually, I'm an employee day there. And I let them know it was happening, but they couldn't save the spot. And I mean, I understand that was gone for a month and a half.
Yeah. I still think there probably could have been some legal shit with that. Cause like, it's technically discrimination because of a disability at that point. Like it was, and that was right after that first shit job that we met at too.
Yep.
Where shit was a little bleak for a minute.
Yep.
But it turned around. It turned around after that. I think shit started to get really good with the new place.
Yep. And I had all my drugs and all that stuff from all that, because they gave me pain medicines for some reason too. I don't know why they gave me pain medicines. I couldn't feel anything. But there was that one day I fell asleep in the living room, and I thought I had been playing a game. Then I switched over and was watching a movie and just fell asleep during it. and then you came downstairs and you were talking to me, and I woke up and I'm like still half out of it. I'm like, man, this game looks super realistic. And you're like, dude, you're watching a movie.
Yeah, I think you were watching
Solo.
The Solo movie. You're like, this game looks really good. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking movie.
So I have my controller in my hand and everything too.
Yeah. Because weren't you watching it on the console too? Like you were watching it through. Yes. Oh, that shit was good, dude. That wasn't that during the Smirnoff kick too. There was always like fucking 800 Smirnoff.
Oh
ices.
Yeah. Yeah, cause it was part depression and part like I need to get through this. So
yeah.
when I wasn't doing like my own physical therapy, I was just getting drunk because I was like, I can't deal with life right now. This whole having to get into a wheelchair, like transport myself into a wheelchair and all that shit, and then go upstairs to go to bed by like pushing myself up one step at a time.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about some of that shit, dude. Jesus.
Yep.
It was so long ago at this point. How many years was that?
That was 2019 or 2020. 2019.
I thought that was 2018.
Oh, maybe it was 18. Yeah. When did I start this job?
It was like 17 or 18 I'm pretty
sure. Yeah,
because
I started this job in 2019. So yeah, it had to be 18.
Yeah, and I started my other job that I got later released from because of COVID. But yeah, Carlito says he's beyond glad you pulled through. Yeah. It's that was fucking scary.
Yep. It's fun stuff.
And then after that, we got to go see a bunch of concerts and shit too.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end, but 10 out of 10 definitely wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, fuck that, man. I hope it's not genetic, but even if it is, it's probably so rare. Like, we don't know shit about it,
Yeah. Yep. It was great stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
It turned around. Everything turns around at some point.
Yeah.
Everything comes around.
Yep. Man, I was still using a cane when I started this job.
Yeah. Yep. You still had the cane. Well, especially because we had to go up like that fucking rickety ass flight of steps every day.
Yeah.
That sketchy ass flight of steps. You need the Carlito says you need the willpower though. Peeps sink in. Yeah. No, I think that like I just like if you're in hospice or something, and this wasn't as severe as that. I mean, it's fucking severe, but not like death. But like I've seen personally when people are in hospice and shit, usually when they go earlier than expected in those cases, it's because they let go. Like if you're holding on, you're going to probably, not all the time, because there's some shit you can't escape. But if it's something you can escape, you're probably going to hold on for longer because you're holding on. You're going to be around for longer because you haven't given up yet. And so like with the disability like that and everything, it was something that could go away. There was a chance it could go away. But if you gave up, it probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would have rose up because that's what they were worried about. They didn't want it to get up to my, like, at least my heart because
and you're fine.
They don't want that to stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
My lungs could stop, heart could stop. That would be the end.
Yeah. You just got to hold on. That's how you get through the shit is you just stick to whatever's keeping you around or find shit if there's nothing and you could make it through a lot of shit.
Yep.
I think that's a good note. I think that's a good note. Stick to shit that makes you happy or find a reason to hold on and you could deal with a lot of shit. That's a good note.
Yeah.
You'll pull through.
Yep. Yeah. So that was what we had for this week. It was an interesting show. We went everywhere.
Yeah.
But
we did.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we'll keep spitballing those ideas for a news channel. See if we bring it to fruition. We'll definitely be talking about it.
I'm gunning for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to see how we're gonna do it. It'll be fun. I'm gonna enjoy it. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What was this? Tomorrow with. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we get oh boy. Oh boy, okay, listen to this
Strap
idiot.
in.
Yep. So we'll definitely be talking about that next week. That's guaranteed, and all the fallout that happens because of it.
There's always more ammo, that's for sure. But
Yeah, I just wonder if he's gonna put his heart out there too.
Yeah, I would not be surprised, dude. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching, Carlitos.
Yeah, thank you.
And everybody else, thank you.
Yeah. And we have videos coming out like normal. Video came out today about taking your dear sweet time, which is very important, which is one thing I complained about with Avowed is they let you run, and I wish they didn't give you that. Like maybe a sprint, but not a run. I don't want to be able to run for 10,000 miles. It makes sense for when you're doing the parkour stuff because there is a lot of like jumping and whatnot. Run for that, but it shouldn't be like a constant thing. It should affect your stamina at least, like something make it to where you can't just do it 24/7. But yeah, it's important to take your time. I mean, I noticed so much stuff in that game because I took my time. I probably enjoyed it more than these idiots who said it's only a 30-hour game max.
Yeah.
When it took me 52 hours to beat it, and I did everything but one quest.
Yeah, you'll always notice more when you take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sure they didn't notice if they made the same decision I did in one part. They probably didn't notice a couple of certain characters there that show up at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, they miss a lot of shit, dude. A lot of reviewers miss shit. I got to work on that reviewer video.
Yeah, you should do that next week. I mean, this week, Thursday, I'm going to be doing one on, I forgot what it was.
Something.
Yeah, something. I'll think of it tomorrow. But in a couple weeks, I am going to go more into the sacred magic of Abramelin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because that is a very interesting topic, and it's going to be my way of getting back into books. I'm going to pull out the weirdest book I have, which is some crazy stuff. And it deals with like the Bible and all the like books that weren't put in the Bible, but are part of it, and magic and demons.
That'll be good shit, dude. That's a crazy book.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So there's stuff to look forward to.
Yep.
And yeah, until next time, take care.
Stay safe. Bloopy